Hello, I'm Lane Hartzell with the Korea IT Times, and I'm here with Malik Ayub Sumbal, who's a journalist, international law practitioner, and political analyst from Pakistan. Welcome, Malik. Nice to see you again.
Thank you very much, Len, for having me in your special show.
Recently, there was apparently an election in Pakistan. There's some turmoil. The previous president was put in jail and so forth. I wanted to talk to you tonight about the current affairs series that I have here. First of all, I want to start with the importance of Pakistan, which many people really don't know much about, and then move into the current events of today. Pakistan is located there just to the west and south of Iran and south of Afghanistan. The coast there, the Oramara or the Hingal Balochistan National Park coast, is where one of the first civilizations began a long time ago. We're talking like 6,000 years ago. And then from there, it developed a highly developed culture, major knowledge centers around the country on up until the Middle Ages. And then, of course, modern times has been not nice to Pakistan. Why did this happen? How did it go from being, say, fairly open and with a long, tremendous history into what we see today?
Yeah, Pakistan had the elections, and as far as the Pakistan history is concerned, it has a long history of turmoil and the political uprising and a very deep role of the Pakistan military establishment into the Pakistani politics. So if one want to try to understand the Pakistani politics, and what's going on inside, then someone must have to be the knowledge of the driving force, that what is the driving force and who are the real decision makers when it comes to the Pakistan foreign policy and the other affairs. So the recent elections, actually, you can say that this is actually the mandate between the people of Pakistan versus the state. This state that we call this, sometimes we can say the deep state, who runs the affairs of the country. So, but the recent elections, despite the intervention and the maneuvering of the Pakistani military establishment, the results are not mean that something that could be acceptable in all terms, because in all elections there are allegations of the rigging and other sort of stuff, but this election was quite unique in terms of the voters' attitude. Mean that the Pakistani politics, there was quite long since the last military dictator, Pervez Musharraf. After that, there was a complete gap, and we saw a very topsy-turvy relation between the political parties. Because first of all, there is no national political parties who could come up into the two-third majority in the parliament. That is one of the most dilemma of the current politics, because they come up with some coalitions. For military establishment, it is not acceptable for any government who could come, or any party who could be in a two-third majority, and they will be solely independent in the decision making, in the resolution, in driving the country's economy, and especially the foreign policy. So the military always try to intervene and try to get those guys who follow them, and when they've refused, the government should be the toppled down. So that the prestige of the prime minister office has been so disregarded, and it has become so much, you can say, that devalued, that nobody want to become the prime minister, because the parliamentary system has been given, has been presented in front of the public, that all the problems and all these things has been done by the politicians, and but if we calculate and if we see, the military rule is more than the civil rule or the political government's role, because since the independence of Pakistan, the shadows of the martial law has been hovering on the Pakistan. And even the first election, that was mean that how the first military dictator, so-called military dictator, mean that field marshal, he used the title as a field marshal, General Ayub Khan. Mean how he come into the power. So there is a continuous, mean that the continuation of the military era. Then there is civil governments. Then they come again the civil supremacy when they're going to be get too much rooted, and they want to get some, the fruit of the democracy is likely to come. Military intervene and topple down the government. So right now at the stage is this, that the economy is at this stage that nobody want to come in the government because the country has no money. And when there is no money, nobody want to come and to rule. So especially this lack of finance has blocked the military way that could move toward the power corridor. But they have some other tactics in which they are driving and manipulating the political system of the country.
When did Pakistan get independence? So the British were in rule. There was Gandhi, Patel, Nehru in India. What is India today? Then there was Jinnah in Pakistan. India becomes independent in 1948 or 47, was it? Okay, so right there at that time, start right there for a moment, and then let's look at the military dictatorship that came after.
So of course the start was very outstanding start, mean that the country who has been separated and who has mean that India, Pakistan. So 1947 mean that yes, Jinnah, Muhammad Ali Jinnah was the founding father of the nation. And under his leadership, the country got the independence. But those countries who got the independence after Pakistan, mean that you can say that there was a boom in the Pakistan, everything. But since when the military dictator Ziaul Haq come, so how he has turned the country into a Islamization, and how they incorporated the Saudi-led Wahhabi Jihad and all these kind of stuff into the Pakistani society. How these mean that he has make a very moderate and a very mean that a country who was moving towards the other nations, and like we can say many other Muslim countries are there, but this hard-lining approach and this mean that the religious fanatics who gave them boom and who allow them mean that to become like this kind of the intolerant and unacceptable place for any other minority, any other religion, even the sectarian violence. How we saw that the country has the deadliest years of the sectarian violence. So all this started mean that after this the disintegration of the USSR, because US want to disintegrate the USSR, and Pakistan was used as a tool, because all this Talibanization at that time, it was engineered inside Pakistan, and Pakistan became a tool as a proxy of the Americans. And then mean that after that we saw that how the country has been polarized, the population is polarized, there's a divisions, and then of course it's very hard for a society to maintain, because when there is a lot of confrontations, and when there is a lot of the different kind of the mean aggressive ideologies has been indoctrinized, or there has been put in any society, of course it's very difficult to meet them. The communal violence was at peak, but in recent election, at least that the people have rejected these religious groups, and they move towards some sort of the political parties, because people think that the future only lies between in democracy and towards the political system, rather than some sort of the religious hardliner groups.
So you're saying that well, obviously Pakistan was relatively moderate. Then came kind of radicalization or extremism that was imposed through, what is it? Saudi Arabia started to fund these schools there. What are they called? Madrasas? Is that right? What are the
seminaries? There are different kind of the sects in Pakistan. Yeah. There are different kind of the seminaries. Of course, there is some sort of the Saudi intervention was there because, of course, Saudi Arabia is one of the country mean that who could sponsor such kind of the stuff. But Saudi Arabia itself now has been changed, mean that they are working on the 2030 vision of the Mohammed bin Salman. They are going to be modernized. They are going to be more, mean that the mean you can say that how they are going to welcome now, mean that those things like different kind of the bars and other kind of the stuff they are going to open. But what they has been mean that swaying or what they have been putting into the countries like Pakistan mean that that is some sort of the very very unlucky past and mean that people are still suffering.
So people are really wanting to move out of that towards a more moderation again with a democratic type elected government, right? And so basically a democratically elected government would be hard for, say, like, France or the United States or another country outside to control. So then their preference, if you're going to have like a proxy, it would be using the military. Is this what's happening?
Can you repeat your question? I didn't understand.
So for example, it would be more the general direction of the people in Pakistan is towards democracy. They want democratization and away from this extremism that we were talking about. However, if it were for the United States or France or another imperial power looking for a proxy, they're going to want an impressive military. Is this what happens where you get democratic elections, but then the military takes over again? Is this what's happening right now? Is this what happened in the future?
I don't think so that the military could come in any way in direct position, but there is, of course, indirect control of the military is there. Regarding the proxy, of course, Pakistan had a past of being a proxy of the West. It's not first time. I mean that in different world, Pakistan was a partner with the Americans in the after 9/11. We saw that Pakistan fought a very long war for Americans. Similarly, against Russia, Pakistan was used. Mean that the weak democracies and as compared to the democratic elected governments, it's very easy for the West to to pressurize or to exploit the dictators, especially the countries like Pakistan, where the institutions are not very powerful, where the judiciary is not powerful, where the bureaucracy is not powerful, where the institute will not stand against the one order that's passed from the Washington. Mean that once when 9/11 happened, after that the Bush administration, they have just given one statement against Pakistan, and the Pakistani military dictator immediately surrendered, and he used the word that we will send to the Stone Age. Mean that this kind of the threats from the Americans mean that to bow down and to surrender in front of them. Recently, the regime change, that is one of the election motto of the Imran Khan, who is in jail, that was also some sort of the similar lines that the Americans intervened and how there is a complete regime change has been took place in Pakistan. So there are different conspiracy theories about the regime change, that how this regime change took place.
You're alleging that the U.S. is involved right now in this particular issue with the recent election?
No, U.S. has been always involved in Pakistan. It's mean that it's not first time. Mean that you can say that the U.S. White House or other, they are giving statements all the time that this is the general matter of Pakistan. So their stress and their gestures, they have been heavily involved in Pakistan. It's not first time. Mean the IMF. Pakistan is under the control, like the financial control is the hand of the IMF. So who is IMF? IMF is like mean that whatever they want to keep the control, they wanna take anything. Mean that if they want to press, they have a very good tool, and that is in the shape of the IMF. So what the problem is this, that they mean that what is the role that Pakistan has to play for Americans in case, because there's a give and take, and what will be the give and take, what will be the new strategy of the Americans in the region, what they want, and how Pakistan would be going to bargain on them. So that is the problem actually, because after 9/11 and the Afghanistan war, Pakistan has been used, and the time and those were the geopolitical and strategical developments in which Pakistan was their need. Now Pakistan is not being needed by the West in terms of anything. Until unless they don't have any new plans. So what is next? I think that we and Americans, you better know.
But it seems like to me that if that is accurate information, then Pakistan is going to look east.
No, of course. The East mean that, of course, Pakistan is the Eastern world order. Actually, I use this term, that the multipolar and the Eastern world order. So Pakistan has choices now. That now the situation and the pressure was not like that. That you can say 20 years before, because now the world politics has been changed. The multipolarity in the world has been strongly dented the Western order. That I say that it's a good choice for the countries like those countries who are in different kind of the pressure tactics by the West. Now I think they have more choices, and we have been seen recently that the countries in the Asia Pacific and the other countries, they have a balanced foreign policy. They are not going to become the proxy of any country, and they are deciding what is better for the country economy and the people of that country. So if Pakistan will choose that option, I think that is the best one. But even now, the overall global scenario will not allow any country to play any kind of the proxy games, because now the patience and the overall the global scenario has been changed.
Could you compare Ukraine to Pakistan? Because Ukraine sits there right in the middle of the landmass, with Europe on one side and Russia and the East on the other. Looks to me like Pakistan is sitting right there similarly. Are these comparable?
No. There is no comparison of Pakistan and Ukraine, because that is a totally different kind of situation. That Pakistan is not like in that stage that the West has, or the Americans have this kind of the demands that they will push Pakistan. No, that there is no comparison like this.
Let me ask you about climate change. Pakistan was really devastated a year and a half ago. You had reported actually in Beijing as a reporter, right, as an anchor, that Pakistan was 1/3 underwater with 70% of the country affected, something around that. What is your perspective now on recovery potential and so forth?
That was, of course, the flooding was quite heavy, and that was disaster flooding, and that the country witnessed so far ever. So the rescue works and the other international donations went there. But under such kind of the disasters, of course, there is a lot of international donation, but it's always get a question mark. And most of the international fundings has been get controversials, and the transparency becomes a very important thing in such kind of the funds. So there was no doubt that the country was hit, and that the coastal line and all this kind of the environmental and the climate locality is so much vulnerable for Pakistan, and it was not that last kind of the disaster, because the country could face the future such kind of the disaster, but that dilemma is this, that due to under this such kind of the economic situation, they don't have any kind of the preemptive attempts or some sort of the pre-planned to tackle such kind of the disaster. So this is a blessing that there is not much disaster. If there would be the disaster like other countries, like in America, the Western countries, or some other situation, the country resources are not going to meet these challenges. So, but in their limited resources, Pakistan is trying to mean that to first of all, at that time when the disaster come, so at that time they try, and I think that that was a little bit mean that a little bit exaggerated that Pakistan gets some international funding and donations for that calamity. And but how the funding was used, it is always one of the question mark, and to be a very sensitive issue, because when there is a billions of dollars pouring into the country, of course there is the donors concerned is always about the transparency of their funds.
Let me let me finish up with one final question concerning Imran Khan. He's in jail right now. He's written a letter to the IMF to point out that if they do release money into the country, that it will be again used by the military. Is this correct, or what is the condition there?
I think they have written some letter to the IMF that this new Pakistan bailout package should be linked with the elections transparency and the election. I mean, how the fair was election, so they should have to be linked it with that. I mean that some rule or some conditions. So yeah, Imran Khan is in jail, and I mean that the future of Imran Khan mean that. I mean, that is not dark because he has shaken, and he has got a like an overwhelming kind of the supporters who are the anti-establishment, and now an anti-US narrative he is going to sell in the public. Public has mean that public has appealed. They attracted his vision, and they voted. So mean that it's all now about the future scenarios, how they will develop, because the current government, how they will challenge, because the current prime minister even who will be whoever be the prime minister, it's very challenging, especially right now, how to take out the country from this economic crisis. So after that, we will see that how Imran Khan will play as a powerful opposition. In the mean, they have, I think they have because we have this provincial autonomy. So in that case, he has government in one province. So let's see how he further play out, and things will unfold. Time will tell. But of course, he has a major role in the Pakistani politics in the coming in the coming scenario, coming years.
Let me ask just an additional add-on there. Navalny was apparently killed in Russian jail. That's what the information is starting to come out as. We don't have definitive proof yet. Is Khan safe? And given, say, for example, in I guess it was around 2004, Bhutto was assassinated. Is he in good condition and safe? I guess I should say.
Bhutto was hanged. He was hanged by the military dictator Ziaul Haq, and
the female,
though that was still in Pakistani Supreme Court. Yeah,
his daughter was shot.
Her daughter, she was assassinated. We have another prime minister, Liaquat Ali Khan. He was killed.
Okay.
So the comparison of the Imran Khan with the Russian opposition leader, no, I don't think so, because Imran Khan is quite quite safe, and that he has a very, very extraordinary kind of the protection there. So that he has all the facilities in the jail. He is not that kind of one thing is this, that though Pakistan we face different kind of phases, but the problem is this, that the people have some bottom line or the power. That you can that the establishment that we say Pakistan is going to be on back step. That
right.
They saw that they have to backstep, and they have to say to show some flexibility. because if you are very hard and you're going to push something, that kind of the note is not that kind of the atmosphere, because it is not acceptable by the people now. I mean that after this election, the results are showing clearly that any kind of this kind of the mean that further authoritative attitude from any side, that could be disaster. So I don't think so. Mean that as far as I know the Pakistani politics, that such kind of threats to him, Imran Khan.
What level of protests are going on in the streets right now? Like for example, numbers.
Now a situation is normal, but some political parties, they had protested, but I mean that of course the matters is in the courts, and the final judgments comes from court, because many of the people whose elections they have a problem, they went to the courts, and there they get some relief from the court, and they get the results. But still, I think it's going on, because as claimed by the PTI, that they have been this seat and it should be like this. I mean that there could be a little bit exaggeration also possible, because they are claiming too high level of the seats. I don't think so that they have this kind of the turnout, but I mean that there is some sort of the engineering with this numbers of the parliamentarians. So that is something like this, but it is not like this that there is a political deadlock. There is not like this. The country has to move on, and it has to move, because the deadlock is not, there is no deadlock. If there is a deadlock and everything will be stopped, then you cannot move forward. So election allegation rigging, this has been it has been a custom of the every election. I mean, but the thing is that how to move forward.
I've been speaking with Malik Ayub Sambab, political analyst and journalist from Pakistan doing international law. Thank you so much. Good to see you again.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.